Good morning and welcome to Brunch with Brian, your daily home investing live stream. Today we're coming to you from the kitchen, and that's because we're cooking. We're cooking this morning. What are we cooking? We're cooking up an idea of who you are. Are you a cook? Ask yourself, how good of a cook are you? Or a chef? Some of you would say, I'm a chef. And there are some people who are terrific cooks and terrific chefs. That's a role. That's a role that you will play sometimes in your life. Everybody will play that role because sometimes you fix your own meals. And I can tell you right now, I am a terrible cook. I don't have any real skills at cooking, and I have no real desire to become a cook or a chef. Now, you pick your roles in some instances. In some instances, you're forced into a role. Now, you are forced into being a cook in your life. You're going to have to take on that role. You're going to have to prepare your breakfast sometimes and your lunch. And sometimes other people fix your meals for you, which is nice. But that doesn't really happen around here. So pretty much, well, Lynette will cook once in a while in the evenings. She'll throw some hamburgers on the grill or do something. But generally, guys, we're not like big chefs. We don't cook a lot, which can be the upside of that is you don't eat a lot. You don't eat as much. You know, if you're making big elaborate feasts every night with wine and dessert and everything, what's going to happen? What's the inevitable consequence of that? Is you're going to gain weight unless you're like exercising for an hour every day. So, we all choose our roles, and then we, have to live with the consequences. So the role that you're striving to achieve is a successful real estate investor. And that's every role that I want you to think about in your life. I want you to attach an adjective. So, okay, if I say cook for me, it's going to be lousy cook. That's my adjective. So now that's not the right way to think, is it? That's a negative programming. So if I said, I am a wonderful cook, could I become a wonderful cook? Now, that's the thing. Every role that you approach and take on and look at, this is a valuable role for me in my life. Like when you get a new job. If you get a new job, you have a new role in your life. And, how well you do in that role will determine your success. And so if you choose a role like a cook or a chef, there's certain traits that play into it, certain natural traits that you already have that will make you more predisposed to success or less disposed to success, less likely of success. And so that's why, like for instance, Lynette, let's say. So what are the traits? Now I'm going to look at, guys, this is what we call our role definition chart. So you could have a role definition chart for chef me or cook me, and you would put an adjective in front of that. So maybe you're a dedicated chef me. So you're really into cooking, you really love it, and you love to do it. And so that would that tells me that you have certain traits that naturally lead towards being a good cook. So what traits would you say, guys? What traits would you say lead to being a good cook? And I can tell you that patience is one of them. You have to wait for stuff to cook. And sometimes you have to be patient about the way you put it together. You can't just throw everything in a pot, stick it on the stove, and that's it. You have to patiently sit there and cut all the carrots, cut all the celery, cut the onions, do this, put the garlic in, and your timing has to be right. So you have to actually be pretty good with time management, at least while you're cooking, because your time management is crucial there. Otherwise stuff gets undercooked or burnt. And so, attention to detail. That's a big one. If you're going to be a good cook, attention to detail is a huge thing. So how many of those translate into being a successful real estate investor? I would say attention to detail does definitely play in. Although, there's something to be said for just taking a whole lot of action without just, fretting about all the little details. So that's another thing. So let's look at the traits that I think are the most important for being a successful real estate investor. This is the role definition chart I want you to fill out. If you haven't already filled this out, I want you to send an email to support@thewolffcouple.com and get this chart. I want you to fill it out and put your name at the top. and this is successful real estate investor you. Okay, so this is, you're building this persona, this character, this role in your life. Now, maybe you never had this role in your life. You never made a dime off real estate investing. All right, well, we got to get you there then. So you got to look at the traits that you have. Now, one of these traits that's very advantageous in the world of creative financing, real estate investing, is communicator. Are you a good communicator? Do you have good communication skills? So that's a huge thing, a big factor in your ability to be successful. Confidence. Are you naturally a confident person, or are you naturally kind of shy and retiring and meek? Okay, or are you strong? I mean, if I asked you, if I stuck a script in your face right now and said, here's the phone, there's a seller on there, use this script and go for it. Okay, now some of you would just be struck dumb with fear and, you know, just kind of fumble through it. Some of you would see that as a challenge, and you have some kind of experience or some reason to believe you're to be confident there. Maybe you are a good reader, or you have some other skill sets that make you particularly good at that. Confidence, communicator, coachable, that's a big one. Sometimes a lot of people, they think they know everything. And I've fallen prey to this before and not listened to people and learned, things I probably should have learned. Okay, so, and sometimes, like, we go out, and you can just tell how people perceive life. Like when we go out on one of these obstacle courses that we did up in northern Arizona, you're climbing across rope nets like 50 feet above the ground and everything, and it's very exciting. But you have to have a certain, you have to listen to the guides. Now, I am not that great at listening to the guides. I just want to get going. And so maybe, you should listen to people. Nothing ever happened, I know what I'm doing, but, listening to people and getting the right instructions up front saves you a lot of heartache, especially in real estate investing. That's why we've spent so much time creating all the checklists and the scripts, so that you have it, so that you can rely on that, and you naturally can have confidence. Because guys, if you approach anything and you don't, you're not well equipped with the tools you need, you're not going to be confident. So that's why we have spent so much time designing and creating the tools that you need to be confident, to be successful. So now, how coachable are you? How much do you go and learn the training? I mean, who's really coachable? If you look, it's in the middle of the basketball playoffs, and I love the Suns, and they're doing great. But how coachable are all those players? If they weren't very coachable, they wouldn't be there. They all learn from coaches. Everything they do, practically, they learn from coaches, or they coach themselves. That's the other thing. You can coach up yourself if you go practice, practice, practice. So that's what I want you to do. Go practice, practice, practice your real estate investing through role-playing the scripts. And you can role-play the scripts with the videos on the OurWolfPack.com. Just go on that member website, put your passcode in there, and you can watch all the role-play videos and role-play with the different characters. Now, in the beginning, I want you to focus on the Pretty House character, which would be Lynette as the old lady Maud. Okay, so there are other traits that play in. Patience. You don't need to be that patient in real estate investing. In fact, Lynette is not patient, and it's probably an advantage because it keeps the business going. Now, I will tell you, it's nice to have a counterbalance. So if you've got a business, you don't want it to be all this crazy action brain who never, is patient or never thinks things through. So that's why it's good if you have a balance there. Someone who is a little bit more detail-oriented, let's say, okay? Because that's sometimes what an action brain isn't that good at, is those details. And in real estate, there are times when you need to be detailed, like when you're filling out your paperwork. That's why it's not, real estate investing is not, totally easy, because it requires you to play these different roles. You have to sit down and fill out that paperwork. That might take you a half hour, an hour, and you got to be careful, and you got to be detail-oriented. When you're making your phone calls, I don't want you to be so careful or detail-oriented. I want you to just go, go, go. So it requires different traits, and that's why it's a challenge for you to be successful in real estate investing. You're going to have to call up certain traits that maybe you don't use on a regular basis, like bravery. How often do you act brave in your regular life? Maybe never. Maybe you never have fear in your normal life. You got a pretty comfortable, complacent living. You've set it up that way, and that's good. But now all of a sudden you've got a new source of fear, and that's making these phone calls and doing this new stuff that you never did before. And so, yeah, that can be scary. So that's where you need to get that training, and that will build your confidence when you get the training and just over time and over experience. But the best way to get it instantly is through role control that I talk about, and that's part of this system. Role control, our role control system consists of these role definition charts and a lot of other things, but you got to start here because this creates the role and defines the role. Defines the role so you know what you need. So as a successful, some other traits here: competitive, that can actually be a good trait; charming, capable, considerate, cash hungry, clever, compassionate. So all these things are important traits as a real estate investor. What are the skill sets? Well, you need to be good on the phone, smartphone skills. You need to be good with scripts. That means communication skills, rapport building skills, your social media, how good you are on your social media. That develops very quickly. You can learn that stuff very quickly if you don't know anything about it. Your organizational skills, especially with a business, guys, you got to stay organized. So all these things are important, and just like you would create the role of a chef. If I said in 6 months, or let's say in 1 month, you have to prepare a feast for 8 people. And if you do it well, this is a big business meeting. If the feast is perfect, they're going to say yes and sign this agreement where you're going to make $1 million. Okay, well, for the next month, what would you do? You'd focus on becoming the best chef, that you could, the best cook, and you'd study, you'd read cooking recipe books and cooking manuals, you'd watch videos. That's a big thing now, guys. Videos are the way people like to learn, and fortunately, we created videos on everything. So pretty much when you go on the wolfpack.com, and we have new ways to frame the material with our academy. So when you really get into it, guys, and become that person who really is dying to become a successful real estate investor, you'll realize how important the training is and the role playing, because that's what really will get you to the point where you can go out into the real world and be successful. So just be aware of all the different roles you play in your life, like a cook. We're all a cook. I mean, I'm a cook for about, how long does it take me to pour a bowl of cereal? No, it's not quite that bad, but yes. So I just wanted to say that I love you guys and I want you to be successful, and so that's why we created these role definition charts, and this will really help you. And there's other things in here like tools, like schedule. Schedule is one of the most important things. What's your schedule as a successful real estate investor? And what are your habits, who are your role models, and everything is on this one sheet. Actually, I have one version that's 2 sheets that's even more complete. So go ahead and send us an email, support@thewolfcouple.com, if you want this, and you should all have this. This could be the most important sheet to your success as a successful real estate investor, because this defines it. This lays it all out for you prior to you even jumping in. So you know who you need to be successful even before you start implementing the tools. I just want to mention it's Johnny Depp's birthday. He's 58. Natalie Portman is 40. Now, Michael J. Fox and Aaron Sorkin, he's a writer, director guy, they both turned 60 today. I had no idea I was that close in age to some of these people. Michael J. Fox turned 60. Wow. So, and it's writer's rights today. So let's do our deep breathing, guys. It's Donald Duck Day to do, so deep breath in. Hold on a second and let it out. Okay, relax your shoulders, your neck. Another deep breath. Always with a big smile. I don't talk about that enough. I should talk every day about how powerful smiling is. Keep smiling. Deep breath in. Hold it a second. Okay, so it's Wednesday. We'll be back. We may not be here for Thursday's live tomorrow because we have another event that we're doing tomorrow. And we're going to be talking to a bunch of California investors about deals at a distance. So remember, guys, if you want to do deals at a distance, if you're in an area where all the houses are really expensive and the demand is just white hot, there are other areas of the country that aren't like that. Okay, and so sometimes you got to find those and branch out and expand your thinking and expand your farm area And maybe there's always a place you wanted to maybe even live that you could start to develop as your farm area, deals at a distance. So don't forget, we're actually doing a presentation on that tomorrow, but don't forget we have that, guys. And it's a very affordable system that would really help you do deals at a distance. So another great day today. I'm going to be who I want to be. That's the affirmation for today. And you can be who you want to be. It takes a little effort, takes a little developing of some skills, but you can absolutely be a success. You can absolutely be a successful real estate investor. I can be who I want to be. Okay, let's say that. 1, 2, 3. I can be who I want to be. Okay, let's say that again. I can be who I want to be. You absolutely can be. So I want to just help you get there, and just keep tuning in here, expecting success, getting awesome training, and as always, taking action.